Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another video. Apple had an event today where they announced some new products and we've got to talk about it. So here we go. So these Apple events are like Mecca for Apple fan people like me. I'm the dream Apple customer. I was talking to a friend years and years ago. I didn't know what kind of computer I should buy. I just knew that I needed one. I was getting old enough to where I needed my own stuff. He said, "What computer are you going to buy?" I said, "I have no idea." He said, "You should get a Mac." And I said, "Okay." Well, it turns out he worked at the Apple Store, and I went in, perfect customer, spent thousands of dollars on a new laptop, a PowerBook, remember those? And walked out of there super happy, and I've never turned back. I went back and I got an iPod, and eventually I got a job there, and I worked at that Apple Store until I moved to New York, where I worked at the Soho Apple Store in Manhattan for quite a few years. And these events are always so exciting. You never totally know what's going to happen. You're never for sure about what's going to get announced, but you always have a little bit of a good idea. And every single time you leave one of these events or stop watching one of these events, you're either a little disappointed or super shocked and thrilled, or maybe a little bit of both or somewhere in between. And this event was no different. There was some things in here that we all went, wow. Or I guess I could just speak for me personally. There was some things in here that I just went, wow.
Wow.
This is new and exciting. And there was other things that I kind of went, So before we get into talking about all these products, I want to give you a quick suggestion. There's this great website, and it comes right out of Mac Rumors. It's buyersguide.macrumors.com. Now, my phone recently broke. I was on vacation. I had to get a new one. I knew they were going to release the iPhone 13 at this event, but I said, well, I can't really wait. I've got to get a new one. Let me just kind of look up. Okay, it seems like all the rumors are saying that the iPhone 13 isn't going to have a ton of new features that I'm just going to be dying to have. So I went ahead and got an iPhone 12 Pro Max. Am I happy with it? Absolutely. My wife broke her Apple Watch, and we needed to get her a new Apple Watch because she uses it every single day. Now, am I going to return that Apple Watch and get the new version? Maybe. But before you buy an Apple product, my point is this: before you buy an Apple product, go to buyersguide.macrumors.com, because on this website, you're going to get a walkthrough of every single one of Apple's products and whether or not, based on speculation and rumor, whether or not you should buy a new iPad, Mac, iPhone, or whatever product you're looking at. Because based on trends, Apple does tend to release the same products at certain times throughout the year. And unless we're super shocked by a brand new product that Apple's never made or released or what have you, there are some general trends you can look at, and Mac Rumors is called Mac Rumors. It knows all the rumors about what we think Apple's releasing, and they'll tell you whether or not you should get that Apple Watch, that iPad, that Mac, or whatever you're looking to buy. So buyersguide.macrumors.com, really helpful. Let's get into the new stuff. So right off the bat, I want to talk about something that to me was a little bit boring. I've tried to wear an Apple Watch. It's not my favorite product, but I do see the benefits of it. Well, now the Apple Watch 7 has been released, and whenever Apple releases a product, are you going to see some new features and some new things that it does that previous models did not do? Yes. But in general, you're going to see some of these same things across the board that Apple upgrades and changes. They're going to make the screen larger while not taking up more real estate on your wrist or in your hand or in front of you on your computer. They're basically going to push out the edges to where all you're seeing is screen. They did that with the Apple Watch. They did a couple of redesigns and made this thing just better. But one thing they didn't do was increase the battery life. And I gotta be honest, I have not been thrilled with the Apple Watch battery life. So is this something I would say run out and get? Well, yeah, if you've been waiting on an Apple Watch, now is the time to buy one. They just released a new one. However, I wish they would have upgraded that battery life just to make it a little bit better for the users out there that are wearing this thing every single day throughout the day. Okay, up next, the iPad 9 has now been released. They have included a new processor within the iPad. Of course, they've upgraded speed, and they've upgraded storage, and they've upgraded the price. But one thing they've also upgraded is this processor, which is going to make it faster, going to make it more efficient, going to save battery life, and make basically the end user really, really happy. And then one other thing that they did was upgrade the cameras. Now, I know for an iPad, upgrading the cameras does not seem like a huge priority to me. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's remember where we've been. We have been in the middle of a global pandemic where a lot of people are learning and working remotely. And I don't know about you, but my house doesn't have 4 or 5 laptops in it. Actually, I'm a huge nerd, and it kind of does have that many laptops. So there's that. But normally you don't have 4 or 5 laptops in your house. And if you do, lugging those things around for a 9-year-old or a 13-year-old who's just getting into high school or is in elementary school, or even a child who wants to watch a movie or play a fun game, lugging laptops around, even though they're so thin now, can get a little cumbersome. So the cameras in the iPad have been upgraded because they knew students, teachers, adults who have full-time jobs and part-time jobs, even people that just want to connect with friends and family across the world, are going to continue to use iPads for communicating, especially via Zoom and FaceTime and things like that. And one of the ways they made these cameras better was by adding to the iPad 9 Center Stage. Now, you can read all about Center Stage at apple.com/iPad, but essentially it is this camera software that allows you to move around, not around the iPad, move in front of the iPad, and based on how many people come into view and where you are in the shot, the camera will use its own technology to realize that it needs to get a little wider, or zoom in, or include another person and focus on the right thing. So this iPad device, which I remember when the iPad first came out, it was pandemonium, people freaked out, but look at the original iPad versus what it is now. It's just an incredible device. The iPad continues to get better, and it continues to become a more and more unique device. I find myself walking around with my iPad, typing up documents, making notes and scripts for videos I'm creating, as opposed to walking around with my MacBook Pro, which, even though it's so thin and so portable, can be, like I said, a bit cumbersome. So iPad 9 has been announced. Some upgrades are there that you're definitely going to want to check out. But that Center Stage feature, I think, is something that they should be really proud of. And that new chip that's in the iPad is going to make it faster and more efficient. It's going to make people really, really happy. Now, next, let's get into it. The iPhone 13 has been released. Now, I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and whenever an iPhone is announced and released, you don't normally see tons, at least nowadays, you don't normally see tons of design changes. The biggest change that Apple has made, in my opinion, in the past few iterations of the iPhone is going from plastic to metal, or as Johnny Ive would say, aluminium.
Aluminium.
So design changes, where the entire look and feel of the iPhone changes, those are few and far between. However, it is really fun when they make those changes. I've always been pleased with the design of the iPhone, even though looking back on some of the designs, I'm like, that wasn't great and that wasn't great. At the time, it's just really fun to see a product you use every single day just kind of have a new flair to it, or to pick it up and it just feel a little new. I really like that. However, on the phone, there are some things that almost always change. And one huge thing that Apple did was increase the battery life. Now, they always say we've increased the battery life. And to be honest with you, unless a phone is really, really old, I'm always around a charger. I've never just been like, the iPhone battery life is abysmal. I mean, there are times where I've been a little frustrated my phone is dying, but most people, maybe I'm just out on a limb here by myself, but most people are around a charger throughout the day. And if you're not remembering just to throw your phone in the charger, and your phone, it should last throughout the day, and maybe it's run down by the end of the day, but it should last throughout the day. But they did increase the battery. And I've always said, like, yes, Apple continues to make a phone that's this many millimeters thinner, and then this many millimeters thinner. I'm just like, guys, make the phones a bit thicker and give us a great battery. Well, they one-upped me. The phone didn't get bigger, and they increased the capacity of the battery, so you're going to be really happy with the battery. Another thing they always upgrade when they release a new version of the phone is increases processing speed. Almost always, they increase the processing speed, the speed and the quickness and the snappiness of the phone. And then you'll see updates around the camera. You see, I love that they're always updating the iPhone camera because, yeah, here I am using a Panasonic GH5. I think it looks great, and I've got this, great microphone in front of me. It sounds great. I mean, hopefully. But upgrading the camera of the iPhone is amazing because it allows more people to become creators. My son, over the past year and a half or so, has begun falling in love with making videos. And I didn't have to go out and buy him a GoPro or a Panasonic or a Sony or a Canon. He just picked up his phone and started filming because it shoots in HD. And they've just made that better with something that they're calling cinematic mode. Have you ever been watching a movie and there are two things? For instance, this lens, and the camera is focused on this lens, but then all of a sudden it focuses off the lens, onto my face. Well, that's something that they've added to the phone. They've allowed you to use these cinematic features that make shooting right from your iPhone to a full-blown movie much easier. They also gave the ability to lock focus on a target so that no matter where they move in your shot, it will be focused on that person, or I believe that thing as well. So this cinematic mode has been updated as well. So as you can see, they're always saying that the battery life is better, but this time they've really upped the battery life. They've upgraded the processor and the processing speed, and they've also upgraded the cameras to make it even easier for people to pick up an iPhone and start creating right out of the box. I love that. I think that's a huge win, and I cannot wait to see what people create right from their iPhones. Now, speaking of the iPad and the iPhone, you're definitely going to want to head over to apple.com and check out the new features of iOS and iPad OS. Version 15 has been talked about at length, but there are some amazing features in there that you're going to want to check out. Let me just hop over to apple.com really quickly. So I'm looking here and it says that iPad OS 15 and iOS 15 are going to be released September 20th. So that's 6 days after the filming of this video. And as a reminder, iOS 15 is supported by every iPhone and iPod Touch that runs iOS 14. So that includes a whole list of phones and iPod Touches and iPads that you're going to want to check out on this list here at apple.com. And there is a treasure trove of features here that you're going to want to look at for iOS 15 and iPad OS 15 as well. So iPad OS 15 and iOS 15 have been announced but not yet released. They release on September 20th, which is 6 days from the filming of this video. So you're definitely going to want to be on the lookout for that. Download when it's available. I'd say at this point, a lot of people used to wait to download those updates. Wait till they get all the kinks out. I mean, at this point, go for it. You're going to be happy. Now, last but not least, they released something new that when I saw them begin their talk about it, I was like, next. What's next? Ugh. And it's the iPad mini. I was not excited about this at all, but they released an iPad mini 6. However, remember earlier when I said when they actually changed the design of an iPhone and you pick it up and it's something that you've used forever, but it has this new feel and this new look. It's kind of exciting and you get all the tingles about it. Maybe it's just me. They completely changed the design of the iPad mini. You can still pick it up and hold it in your hand. It's huge, but it looks more like the iPhone. Now, I have a prediction here. Phones are only getting bigger. They're now folding. There's all sorts of things. People are trying to reinvent the phone all the time. I could see the iPad mini 6 that works with the Apple Pencil, that now has better cameras on it, that now looks more like the modern version of the iPhone. I could see it receiving a cell phone type feel in the future. And yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy to pick up a device that big and put it up to your ear. But I mean, let me ask you something. With wireless headphones being more and more common nowadays, with people texting and Zooming and FaceTiming more than they're making phone calls, this becomes way less weird because it's becoming way less common. So I could see the iPad slowly making its way towards being more of a cell phone and less of a tablet. Not the big iPad, but the iPad Mini 6. I love the look of it. There's new colors. I kind of want one, even though I have no need for one. I really thought to myself, my kids would flip over these iPad Mini 6s. Man, they look really cool. Check it out, apple.com/iPad Mini. You'll see it and maybe love it like me, or maybe hate it. Now, last but not least, I want to share with you a huge disappointment. So Apple has begun creating for quite some time now, their own processors, and they're putting them in phones and putting them in computers. And the M1 chip from Apple was a huge deal that they put in their computers. And now some of their computers have this M1 chip, and it's been nothing but roses from everybody. I have heard so few complaints and tons of praise about these M1 chips that are now inside of some Macs. And I wanted new MacBooks to be released today with the M1 chip or an upgraded version of the M1 chip, like M1 Plus or M2. I was ready to pull the trigger on buying one of those today if it was announced and released, but it didn't come. So we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. But overall, not a groundbreaking event for me. Apple Watch, my wife's probably going to love it. Is she going to notice a huge difference? Probably not. Neither would I. New iPad with those new camera features for people who are zooming and video chatting. Great. Love it. Fun. The new iPhone. I love that they've added that cinematic mode and that they're helping more people create right out of the box when you buy an iPhone. I think that's great. And then, huge surprise for me, I love the iPad Mini 6. Why? Well, for all the reasons I shared earlier. But that's all for me. I am disappointed about the MacBooks, but what did you find that you loved from the Apple event? I want you to let me know in the comments. Or was there something you wish that they had announced? Let me know in the comments, and then do all the other YouTube things. Like, subscribe, share this video with a friend who needs to know what Apple Watch or what iPhone or what iPad to buy next. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.